Attention returns to the Premier League this coming match day as, of course, the top 4 race heats up. But what about the race for the drop? Who's safe? Who's going home? We'll take a little look next. Right, folks, once again, another purchase shirt today. We take a look at match day number 31 out in the Premier League, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button. You're back up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Premier League related. Whoa, football, we're going to go here. Underwaterski, of course, we're back from an extended break, really, from the Premier League, of course, with the FA Cup and, of course, the international break, causing all kinds of chaos out in the Premier League. And we'll take a look at those old games and, of course, the ones kicking forward this coming match day in just a second. A big shout out to the VIP Band of Brothers. I'm talking about the Patreons. That's right, of course, continuing to support the channel behind the scenes. I've been very, very busy this past few weeks with, of course, in this break to try and get a lot of content up and ready. So I do appreciate those guys that believe in the channel and believe in the brand, because I think we're going places if we can keep on driving forward. So if you are interested in joining those band of men and women, check out the links down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. You can join for as little or as much as you like, depending on whatever you feel like and whatever you're comfortable with. Anyway, let's get into the deep end and, of course, take a little look at how we got to this stage. Of course, revisiting my picks from way back when, kicking it all off with, of course, Friday the 12th of March. Goodness gracious me, it's like a whole month of no Premier League football for some teams anyway. So it was a 1-1 draw in the end, going in favour, well, of nobody really, at St James's Park. Jamal Lascelles getting the goal for Newcastle. Kieran Clark getting a goal for Villa in his own net, of course, the Geordie put in the back, giving Villa a show of sports. A couple of late goals there in the last 10 minutes or so to make it a very, very lively end to that match. Of course, doesn't really help Newcastle in their bid for survival. Doesn't really help Villa's progress up the table. Meanwhile, Leeds, they've got a good strong point against Chelsea, 0-0 in the end. Another report here. That was, of course, on Saturday the 13th of March. Kicking it forward on the same day, Palace did pick up a win against, of course, Allardyce's boys. 1-0 win in the end for Palace. Give themselves the 3 points as well to move up the table up to 12th now. Luka Majanovic for the penalty spot, giving them the win. Of course, West Brom look toast. Meanwhile, Burnley got themselves massive 3 points over Everton. Chris Wood, Dwight McNeil on the score sheet. Of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin get the goal for Everton, but unfortunately not good enough. So 2-1 for the Freaks, of course. Not good enough for Everton in their race for top 6. They're down to 8th now, and I think they could probably say their dreams of Champions League are over, I would say. Of course, Fulham, they did lose to, of course, Manchester City. Was nailed on there. Of course, Stones, Gabriel Jesus, and of course, Sergio Aguero on the score sheet, giving Manchester City the 3-0 win. So got them on bang on the bloody nose. Not too shabby. Kicking into, was it Sunday's games, the 14th of March. It was the Saints. They keep on marching on to defeats and defeats. 2-1 loss to Brighton. Lewis Dunk, Leandro Trossard on the score sheet with Trey Adams, the Scotsman, on the score sheet, of course, for the Saints. So I actually remember the 2-1 win for Southampton, but I was wrong. Leicester put 5 past, of course, no longer Chris Wilder's Sheffield United. Coach United with a hat-trick, of course, Jose Perez and Ethan Ampadu with the big fat OG, giving Leicester the 3 points, 5 goals. They're in this top 4 race. I actually remember the 3-0 win, so not too shabby. Arsenal picked up a shocker, or good, strong win for them. 2-1 win over Tottenham. Mount Odegaard on the score sheet, Alexander Lacazette from the penalty spot. Alec Lamela got himself a goal and a red card in a very, very eventful evening for him. So 2-1 for the Gunners, 2-2 for me, not too great. Manchester United did oust Jesse Lingard's West Ham, 1-0 win. Craig Dawson with a big fat OG, giving United the 3 points. Meanwhile, into the Monday's game, it was Wolves against Liverpool. It was a 1-0 win for Wolves. Diego Jota against his old club as well, giving Liverpool the win. Got the one bang on the bloody nose. Kicking on to the extra bumper games here. It was Fulham up against Leeds. On Friday the 19th of March, Patrick Bamford and Rafinha with the Bobby Dazzlers in there, of course, giving Leeds 2-1 winners over Fulham. Joachim Anderson get the goal for Fulham. 2-1 for Leeds. Actually, went with the 1-0 for Fulham, but I'm just believing them. I just want them to do the unthinkable and send the Geordies down. That's right. Meanwhile, Aston Villa, what did they get on? They played Tottenham. They lost to Tottenham at home. Carlos Vicinches and Scotia Harry Kane get the goal as well, and a 2-0 win for Spurs. Actually, won the 1-0 win myself. Meanwhile, Brighton, back-to-back wins, was it? Yes, 3-0 win over the Geordies. Trossard, Welbeck, and Neil Maupay on the score sheet, giving Brighton the W in a 3-0 win. I went with a 2-1 win. And of course, the Hammers and Arsenal end up as a 3-3 draw. 6-goal Bobby Dazzler. Jesse Lingard, Bowen, Subcic goes well on Scottish with Sucic with for OG. Craig Dawson with OG. And of course, Alexander Lacazette giving a share of the bloody spoils. And as you can see, I got myself 6 out of 14, which is not brilliant, but of course, it does okay. As for the table, it looks like this. City lead the charge. 71 points, of course, on the table. United are in second, 1 point clear over Leicester City, who are, of course, 4 points clear over Chelsea, who are a couple of points over West Ham, with, of course, Spurs still in the mix, as are Everton. Of course, Everton do have a game in hand, win that, and they go up to 5th already, so it's not all doom and gloom, and you might even consider Arsenal a late push for Europa League spots, if not the very least. Of course, Fulham going down, 2 points adrift, of course. Newcastle played the game more. Of course, West Brom and Sheffield United, despite my hope and wisdom and belief, they look toast. I think it's realistically it's Fulham or the Geordies at the moment. Of course, Brighton, Burnley picking up wins, Southampton on a major slump at the moment. So take a look at your picks, of course. These are the criteria. Bish Bash Bosh. Paxton Ritchie did okay from himself. Yannis also did bits. Not too shabby. Jane O'Donnell also had a shocker. Vincent Hong did bits. Matt Gunnar not too shabby. Tom Stein did bits, of course. We'll give him a round of applause. So Harrison Crane, he's okay. Cody Coe, not too shabby as well. Ian Mitchell done also very well. Edric Washington with the coolest name in town, not too bad, but did pretty well. Pretty shite actually. James PCC, great, you did okay. Mr. Matt Ross, not too shabby. Sam Reese, year 5 did good. Hans Worst also did very well. Jay Negger, not too shabby, of course. Alan MC, you know me, did very well. A Judy did bits. Olajojo, not too shabby. In fact, he did pretty terrible. Jenny Van Veen, he did alright, of course. Yeah, for the MPP, not too bad as well. As for Leargless, good, not too bad. Of course, Camille Tran did good. Costas K, he's okay. Jakob Jackson also did very well. Alex Weller did bits of shite. Roberto Hoss also did good. Of course, Esquivel, he did okay. Amagimundo did bits, of course. R787B, okay, not too good. Mark Chapman did terrible. Chuchuka Icev also did pretty good for himself. And Jenik Jaife did shite. Game and Chai did bits, of course. Adrian K1Z did poop. So did Aston Villa Seal, okay, did okay. Of course, I'm Sammy I did shite. Ollie Hamlin did okay. Of course, Luka Janovic also did good. These 2021 not too sure, of course. Armin Such also did very well. Russell Frost also did shite. Ricardo W did bits. Of course, Ben also did good. I think might be a lot. Take a look at the leaderboard. I say I do. Don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. But as if your name is, of course, stalling. It is Barcelonista, outright kingpin with, of course, 9 out of 14, which is a pretty good score. But what's that done to the overall table for the Premier League? We'll have a little look at it. Here it comes. Here it bloody comes. It is. Bada bing, bada bong. Yeah, for VMPP leads the charge by margins. Very, very, very small margins over Armin Sochi. Of course, Shane O'Donnell also in the hunt as well. Vincent Hong not too far away. Neither is Costas K. Hans Worst also in the hunt as well. You could even go all the way down to, I don't even know, down to maybe, okay, Jakob Jackson. The top 19, I would say, are in this still in this. If you're outside of this, then you gotta hope for small minor miracles. Of course, that's of course the latest round of picks. What about the next round of picks? Well, we're gonna kick it all off, of course, with a with a bumper weekend of action. Kicking it all off on the 3rd of April, which will be Chelsea up against West Bromwich Albion. Of course, played each other 6 times in recent succession. Of course, 4 wins for Chelsea, nothing for West Ham. West Brom even 2 draws as well. Last time at Stamford Bridge was a 3-0 win for Chelsea. Of course, back in February 2018, Hazard, Moses, and on Scotia, of course, Hazard got a couple of goals last time around. Pleasure this season with a 3-3 draw back in, of course, September. Chelsea, they're keeping a clean sheet in the last 5 home matches. West Brom, the defender, scoring 5 of the last 7 matches as well. Coming into this, what do we have on this one then? We have just 1 win in the past 6 games for West Brom. They've been stubborn. Of course, just 2 defeats in the past 6 for them. Of course, losing to Everton, losing to Palace. They need to be winning the games around them. That's beating the Geordies. That's beating, of course, Sheffield United. That's beating the Burnleys. That sort of stuff. As to Chelsea, they won 4 of the past 5 games. The only hiccup was a draw against Leeds. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 games without conceding a goal has them moving in the right direction. Of course, a look at the bookies odds on this one will be stone cold favourites. I'm pretty dang sure of it for Chelsea. In fact, 11-2 on for Chelsea for the victory. 11-2 is your draw. 14-1 is your West Brom. Of course, West Brom coming to this in 19th, but with them they can close in on 18th. As for Chelsea, then 4-4 for them, they can close in on 3rd. Chelsea will take the win on this one, 3-0. That's right, point to the bag, move the chains. Next, of course, Leeds United taking, of course, Sheffield United in, of course, the North East Crunch Crash Yorkshire Derby. Played for the last 6 tournaments for Leeds, 4 for Sheffield United, and no draws. Last time around at Ellen Road was a 1-0 win for Sheffield United. Of course, Chris Basham, the Scottish Kiko Garcia got himself sent off for Leeds. That was, of course, back in the Championship in 2019. They also played each other this season at Bramall Lane. It was a 1-0 win for Leeds. Of course, Bamford on the score sheet with a silver spoon and everything. Sheffield United have actually lost 14 last 16 matches in the Premier League, and they've also failed to score in 6 of the last 7 on the road. They came into this just 1 win in the past 6. That one was against Aston Villa. Meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 4 games for Leeds. That was against Fulham prior to the international break. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. What do we have on this one? We have Leeds 2-1 on for the victory, 3-1 is your draw, 6-1 is your long shots. That's score Sheffield United. Sheffield United are rooted to the foot of the table, but a win for them. They can close in on West Brom. Leeds are in 11th. A win for them. They can move actually up to as high as 9th in the table. For me, going to go with the 2-1 for Leeds at Ellen Road. 3 points in the bag. Next up, of course, a bit of a fruity one. It's Leicester City taking, of course, Manchester City, champions and waiting, some may say. Of course, played each other the last 6-2, and so Leicester 3 for City, Manchester, of course, and 1 draw. Last time around at the King Powers, a 1-0 win for Manchester City. Gabriel Jesus on the score sheet, of course, back in February 2020. They also played each other this season at the FA. It was a 5-2 win for Leicester City, of course, with a Bobby Dazzler of a game. City, though, have actually won 17 last 18 matches in the Premier League, and they've also scored at least 2 goals in 8 of the last 10 matches. Heading into this, though, Leicester have actually won 3 on the spin, beating Brighton, Sheffield United, and of course Manchester United in the FA Cup. As for Manchester City, they've just lost once in the past 6. That was against Manchester United in the Premier League. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. We have Leicester City 11-2 for the victory, 2-1 on is your City, of course, that's Manchester. Of course, 3-1 is your draw. Leicester are in 3rd, and for them, they could go 2nd. As for City in 1st, they have got what, as it appears to be, 14-point clearance at the top of the table. They could go 17 points clear with a win and a little bit of luck going their way. They will get a draw on this one. Points in the bag, maybe a chance for United to close in on them. Next, of course, Aston Villa. Taking, of course, Fulham at Villa Park. Played each other last 6-2 for Villa, 4 for Fulham. No draws. Last time around at Villa Park was a 1-0 win for Fulham. Of course, Tom Kearney, ex-Rover, Dennis Adoy on the score sheet, of course, or actually got himself carded last time around at Villa Park. They also played each other this season at Craven Cottage. It was a 3-0 win for Villa back in September. Of course, heading into this, Fulham undefeated in the last 8 away matches, looking very, very good on the road. However, it's just three defeats in the past 4 for them. Only positive was a win against Liverpool. As for Villa, four games without a win for them. Last time they won was against Leeds at Ellen Road, all the way back at the end of February. Of course, look at the bookies' odds on this one. What do we have? Aston Villa 5-4 for the victory, 2-5 is your Fulham, 21-10 is your draw. Villa in a 10th, the win for them, they can move up to 9th. Fulham in 18th, the win for them, they could actually get out of the drop zone at the expense of Newcastle up to 17th. Going to go with a draw on this one, point in the back for Fulham, which will be happy for that, but of course not good enough to get out of the drop zone. Next, of course, Southampton taking, of course, Burnley, the Six-Fingered Freaks. That, of course, played the last 6, 1 for the Saints, 2 for Burnley, 3 draws last time around at St Mary's. Was a 2-1 win for the Freakazoids back in February 2020. Westwood, Vidra on the score sheet, of course. Danny Ings, ex-Burnley, ex-Freakazoid, could be going to Manchester City, the rumour has it, on the score sheet, of course, Southampton. Southampton have actually lost 10 of the last 12 matches in the Premier League. They come into this, though, 2 wins in the past 4 games in all competitions. That win last round was against Bournemouth in the FA Cup. They also beat Sheffield United a couple of games back. Meanwhile, Burnley just 1 defeat in the 6th. That 1 defeat was against Spurs, 4-0 loss midway through the month, or actually back end of February on this one. Look at the bookies' odds on this one. We have Southampton, even Stevens for the victory, 5-2 is draw, 13-5 is your Freaks. They are, of course, the underdogs. They come into this in 15th. The win for them, they can move up to 13th above Southampton. As for Southampton, they're in 14th. The win for them, they can also move up to 13th with a win. Going to go with Southampton on this one. They needed the break. They've got the break. Now they come back recharged, rebooted, and ready to take on the Freaks. Next, of course, we have Newcastle United. Of course, Tottenham Hotspurs. Again, must win for Spurs. Must win for the Geordies. Played each other last 6. 1 for the Geordies. 4 wins for the Mourinho's boys. And, of course, 1 draw last time around at Newcastle was a 3-1 win for Tottenham, of course, back in July 2020 in lockdown. Song Heung-min on the score sheet, of course, Harry Kane with a couple of goals, Matt Ritchie getting the goal for Newcastle. Of course, Newcastle have actually failed to win their last 6 matches in the Premier League. They come into this, though, just 1 defeat in the past 4. That 1 defeat was against Brighton, the rest have been draws. Meanwhile, Spurs coming into this, just 1 win in the past 3, losing to Arsenal, losing to Zagreb, but coming back with a win against Aston Villa prior to the break. Of course, heading into this, the bookies' odds, what do we have on this one there? The Geordies 17-4 for the victory, 3-1 is draw, 5-3 away win. That is odds on for, of course, Newcastle. Of course, the Geordies are in 17th, but a win for them, they could close in on, of course, Brighton. As for Spurs, they're in 6th, a win for them, they could actually go into the top 4 at the expense of Chelsea. I think they'll get the win. They're 3-0 win to keep the heat at the top 4. Next up, of course, Arsenal against Liverpool. Bit of a fruity one, this one. Played each other in the last 6, 2 wins apiece and 2 draws last round. Down London way was a 1-1 draw in the Community Shield. No one talks about that. Meanwhile, last time I played each other in the Premier League in London was back in July 2020. It was a 2-1 win for Arsenal last season. Lacazette, Nielsen on score sheet. Of course, Sadio Mane getting the goal for Liverpool. Heading into this, though, Liverpool winning back-to-back wins, beating Leipzig, beating Wolves, of course, back-to-back clean sheets as well. Just one defeat the past 6 games for Arsenal. That was against Olympiacos in the Europa League, but they still managed to get themselves through. As for the odds on this one, 20-10 for Arsenal, 5-2 is your draw, 6-5 is your Liverpool, the champions for the time being. Of course, Liverpool are in 7th. They win for them, they can move up to 5th. As for Arsenal, they're in 10th. They win for the 9th. Actually, they win for them, they can close in on 8th. Going to go with a 2-1 for Liverpool to get the 3 points and move the bloody chains. Manchester United, of course, Brighton this weekend as well. Of course, taking each other, they played each other the last 6. 5 wins for United, 1 for Brighton, no draws last time around at Old Trafford back in November 2019. It was a 3-1 win for United. Pereira, McTominay, and of course Rashford on the score sheet. Lewis Dunk getting a goal for Brighton. Of course, United though keeping a clean sheet in the last 4 matches, undefeated also in the last 9. Of course, they played each other this season at the Amex in the Premier League. It was back in September. It was a 3-2 win for United. They also played each other in the Carabao Cup. It was also a win for United as well. They actually won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the spin against, of course, Brighton. Of course, heading into this back-to-back wins for Brighton, beating Southampton, beating Newcastle, the games they needed to win. Free hit this one, of course. As for United, they've just lost once to the past 6. That was against Leicester in the FA Cup. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have United coming out to 7-4 for the victory, 7-4 on, sorry. 3-1 is your draw, 19-4 is your Brighton. Brighton are actually in 16th. They move for them. They can move up to as high as 13th. As for Manchester United, they are second. They can close in on first a little bit with, of course, a win going their way. They'll get the win 3-0 comfortably as well. 3 points in the bag. Next, of course, I have Everton taking, of course, Crystal Palace. Played each other the last 6-4 for Everton, nothing for Crystal Palace, and 2 draws last round at Goodison Park. Was a 3-1 win for Everton back in February 2020. Bernard Rickarlson and, of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the score sheet. Christian Benteke getting the goals for, of course, Palace. Heading into this, though, just 1 defeat the past 5 games for Palace. That was against Tottenham. Meanwhile, 3 defeats on the spin for Everton have them scrambling, losing to Chelsea, losing to Everton, losing, of course, losing to Burnley, and, of course, losing to City in the FA Cup. So what can they do? Of course, break came at the right time, I suppose. 4-3 on is your Everton, of course. 4-5 is your draw. 4-1 is your long shots. That's Crystal Palace. Palace are actually in 12th win for them. They could close it. They can actually go up to 11th. As for Everton, they're in 8th win for them. They could go 5th in the table. Going to go with a win for Everton. 2-1 win in the bag. 3 points in the sack. And then heading on, the Battle of the W's. It's Wolves up against West Ham. Played to the last 6-4 for the Wolves. 2 for the Hammers. No draws last time around. Molyneux was back in, of course, December 2019. Leonardo Dondoneka and Patrick Cutrone on the score sheet for, of course, Wolves last time around. They also played each other this season down at London. Of course, it was a 4-0 win for the Hammers back in September. Heading into this, though, West Ham just 1 win the past 4 games for them. That was against Leeds, losing to the likes of City, Manchester United, and, of course, drawing with Arsenal. As for Wolves, without a win in 4 as well, picking up 2 draws and 2 defeats to boot. As for the bookies odds on this one, 90-10 for Wolves, 9-4 is your draw, 7-5 is your Hammers. Of course, Wolves are in 13th. A win for them, they can move up to 12th. West Ham are actually in 5th, and a win for them, they could actually go into the top 4. I think they'll get the win as well, too, and win on the road. Moyes' boys, believe in the boys. Moyes' boys. That's it, my friends. That's what I think will happen in the next match day, of course, in the Premier League. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. Manchester City lead the charge, 12 points clear over United. Of course, Leicester 3 points adrift of Manchester, of course, in 3rd. Chelsea to 4th, West Ham in 5th. Spurs not too far away either. Sheffield United, West Brom going down. Fulham also in the hunt. But as you can see, still not out of the woods are Brighton and Burnley, and hopefully they can get sucked into it one way or another. That's what I think will happen, of course, in this one. Be sure to get your picks in nice and early, and we'll do it all again next round. But until then, make sure you check out the links down below on Twitter, on Facebook, and I'm on Twitch, as well as you could support me on Patreon if you so well choose. Check out the links to that. That's on the screen right about now, patreon.com/RoseSeas. But until then, though, hopefully you liked the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up, smash the subscribe, and I'll see you next time for some more premium picks when they come around.